Many of you will have had the experience of moving into a new job in a new workplace, and when you do that, everything seems quite strange to you at first, doesn't it? Somebody comes into the office, you don't know who they are. Is it the managing director? Is it somebody who's delivering a parcel from DPD? You want a cup of tea, you don't know where to go. You've got to go to the toilet, you've got to ask somebody. It's an alien environment, and it takes time to settle. And to some extent, the early Christians must have had that same feeling of discomfort. The Jewish Christians were moving on from the Old Testament faith, but they wanted to know how much of those practices need to be carried forward. And the Gentile Christians were perhaps asking the question, well, do we need to adopt all those Jewish practices and customs to become Christians? And there were undoubtedly different people advising and selling different things. And in that environment, it may be that people started bad-mouthing people that they didn't agree with. And that may be why, we're not told, but that may be why James wrote this little passage into his letter saying, do not slander one another. And in what James wrote, there are clear echoes of the 9th of the 10 Commandments. And it says, you shall not give false testimony against your neighbour. And if you read one of the amplified versions, it says, you shall not testify falsely, that is lie, withhold, or manipulate the truth against your neighbour or any person. So that's a pretty good definition of slander. And James is making the point that that moral force of the Old Testament 10 Commandments carries on forward into the new Christian era. So what is the problem with slander? It's twofold, I think. First of all, you are obviously setting yourself up in judgment against another person. You are assuming that you know the moral right, and you are assuming you know why that other person is wrong. And the second thing is that we're clearly also disobeying what God has told us to do. God has told us not to slander and give false testimony against each other. We're warned not to do it. So if we do it, we not only set ourselves up against our fellow Christian believer perhaps, but we also set ourselves up against, as authorities if you like, over the Bible itself, God's word. We sort of put ourselves onto the level of God looking down on people. That's a bad place to be. The dilemma a little bit is the difference between having judgment and good judgment and being judgmental. When I was in a company, I used to recruit people occasionally to join my team. We'd have one vacancy, you'd have many people apply. And when people came for interview, you had to distinguish between those that would fit into the team, had the skill sets that you required, and those that wouldn't. And so obviously you had to discern and discriminate between people. But the key was not to discriminate on the basis of something like whether they were male or female or the colour of their skin. That would have clearly been judgmental, apart from, especially today, being illegal to do it. So the difference between judgment and being judgmental is absolutely critical, and Christians are called to have good judgment, but to avoid being judgmental. And it's a fine line, and I guess we all need God's help so that we don't fall into the trap of becoming judgmental people instead of exercising good judgment. So we need God's help, and I think God does help us. I am as prone as anybody to think the wrong things about somebody else. I jump to conclusions very often about somebody and their character, and I'm tempted to do this slandering that James is telling us not to do. But I've tried over the years to develop a habit that when I think those thoughts, just to stop and to think and to pray. And it's amazing how often when you do that, something comes floating into your mind that reminds you that you tend to do the things that the other person does as well. You're about to judge them on something that you yourself do. And so we all need help. So James today is reminding us not to slander one another. So I think today is a time just to take a little quick check. Maybe go and look in the mirror, spend a moment, have a look into your eyes. Have you got a plank in your eye that needs removing? Perhaps today should be eye plank removal day. It's a time to take a check on our relationships and put them right if they're wrong.